Then I met 1 year.
I'm going to call this meeting to order. All 7 board members are present. Are there any comments from the public on closed session items? Shall now adjourn to personnel. Sorry, I'm a little late. Going here. So we're at 7:10. All right. All 7 board members are here, and we have 3 reps from, one from Bear Creek, Lexi Thorne, and Margaret Machado from Tokay, and Celine Wayne from Middle College. All right. Welcome. Could you stand for a pledge of allegiance? Mr. Strode?
Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Okay, closed session item. Mr. Nava motion, Dr. Ball second, and the board approved the appointment of Valerie Sutter as an elementary vice principal, effective date and location to be determined by the vote of 7 yes, 0 no. Dr. Ball motion, Mr. Stroh second, and the board approved the appointment of Julia Hoagland as elementary vice principal, effective date and location to be determined by the vote of 7 yes, 0 no. And I motioned, connects it, and Mr. Nava second, and the board approved the appointment of Aaron Church as assistant superintendent of personnel, effective date to be determined by a vote of 7-0. All right, this is a long one. We're at placement of non-public school students. These are all renewals. Mr. Nava motion and Mr. Fogg second, and the board approved the placement of non-public school student renewal numbers 1, 2, 10, 12, 13, 16, 20, 22, 25 through 27, 29, 32, 37 through 41, 43, 47, 52, 53, 55, 57, 59, 60, 63, 66, 68, 71 through 76, 79, 81, 96, 103, 107, 110, 111, 114, 115, 117, 119, 122, 123, and 126 through 128 by the following vote of 7 yes and 0 no's. No applause for that one, geez. Yeah. Okay. Where were we? That was it, right? Yep. Okay. At this point, I'm going to declare the Lodi Education Association reopeners for the 24-25 year open. Are there any board comments? Any public comments? There are.
Hi, Antoila Garcia, employee, community member. I would like to make a comment on the reopening and the bargaining. Recently, a board member announced in the newspaper that they want to improve working conditions for employees. One moment. Was a lot to remember. I appreciate that, but I want to know when that will start. Last year in bargaining, our group surveyed our members and came up with a list of about 10 things that would improve working conditions for employees. Our team shared it with the district's team. Those things included condensed salary scale, redesignating all flat stipends, better maternity leave, more flexible leaves, days for Kingdom videos, elimination of break-in service, on and on and on and on, multiple things. However, when it came to bargain those points, the district showed no interest. 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 The district stonewalled, ignored, and drug out negotiations till the very end of the year, not very productive and not great for morale. Not good for creating a united community. It would be like asking your partner asking you, I want to discuss how the kids are doing at school, or how are we spending our holidays, or what should we do for your dad's birthday? And you saying, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. That type of communication will hurt a relationship. Our relationship is already pretty broken. A friend went to the coffee with the superintendent last year and asked why negotiations are always so contentious. And the superintendent answered, that's how things have been. And that may not be true, that might be true, but that's not how things have to be. I wouldn't, if I had an issue with a colleague or a parent or an admin, that would not be my answer. That's how it's been. I would work it out. And I want us to work it out, to find a better way. So when Lodi and Leah get together to bargain, actually bargain, whether we do collective bargaining, or as Kelly suggests, interest-based bargaining. If you really want to improve working conditions for employees, then come to the table and bargain the issues that are there. Thank you.
And I declare the public hearing closed. Next item is I declare the Lodi Unified School District contract reopeners with Lodi Education Association, LEA for 24-25 open. Any board comments? Public comments?
President Knackstead, members of the board. I'm kind of concerned about a comment, one of the lines in the reopener. Actually, you reopen both salary and benefits separately, and in both of them, they say that adjustments could be made with additions or subtractions. It's very concerning to me. I understand, based on, additions or subtractions based on the state budget. I understand that COLA, and for those of you who don't understand, COLA is the cost of living adjustment, is only expected to come in at 1.07% this year. But if you continue to leave Mr. Young's contract as it is, he's already gotten a 3% raise for the 24-25 school year. That's 3 times the expected COLA. How is that fair and equitable? He's asking for adjustments to his salary based on what is equal to what quote unquote everybody else got, unquote. Really? So I would take a look at that. You not only did that for LEA, but you did it for all the other bargaining groups as well. So how is it that the person at the top is going to get triple the expected COLA? I was always taught that you feed everybody at the table first before you feed yourself. This is not a good look. That's not what's happening. Thank you.
Declare this public hearing closed, and now we're going to declare the Lodi Unified Supervisory Group LUSG reopeners for the 24-25 year to be open. Any board comments? Any public comments? Okay, and then I'll declare that public hearing closed. And at this point, I'll declare the Lodi Unified School District contract reopeners with Lodi Unified Supervisory Group LUSG for the 24-25 year to be open. Board comments? Public comments? Then I'll declare this hearing closed. I'd like to declare the Lodi Unified School District contract reopeners with the California School Employees Association, better known as CSEA, for the 24-25 year open. Any board comments? Public comments? Declare this hearing closed. Declare the Lodi Unified School District contract reopeners with the Lodi Pupil Personnel Association, LPPA, for the 24-25 year to be open. Any board comments? Public comments? Declare that hearing closed. All right, let's hear from our students. Lexi from Bear Creek, what's going on over there?
Good evening. Hope you missed me as much as I missed you guys. Good evening, President Knackstead, Vice President Dr. Ball, members of the board, and Superintendent Young. Here is what I have to share about Bear Creek today. We have welcomed our new freshman friends into student government. This year we had a record amount of interest with over 25 applicants. Out of the 20-some, we have selected 10 to represent the class of 2025. Our freshman class president for the 2024-2025 school year will be Jasmine Limay. She participates in freshman girls volleyball here at Bear Creek and was previously the vice president at Elkhorn Middle School. Our annual Club Rush event was held the week of August 19th, and it was a blast. We had about 10 new and 35 returning clubs that were ready to recruit new members. All of the students were excited to see all the clubs Bear Creek has to offer, along with some performances that previewed our annual international rally that will take place in March. Special thank you to our Vice President of Student Government, Alana Youth, for organizing the entire week for our students to enjoy, and our ASB Co-Commissioner of Publicity, Matthew Romano, for DJing and making the event exciting and one to remember. I would like to give a formal congratulations to our staff members of the week, Ms. Victoria Castro and Ms. Jennifer Custard. Ms. Castro oversees our very successful speech and debate program. Last year, she sent a great number of our students to state and nationals for speech and debate, me being one of them. Ms. Custard recently took on teaching AP statistics and is doing very well. All of her AP students appreciate the daily snacks and love she gives to them. We love recognizing our staff for going above and beyond for our students. As for upcoming activities, us as student government are ecstatic for homecoming. We hope to make this one the greatest yet. Our advisor, Mr. Jason Johnson, has been a great help by coming up with ideas that are inclusive and fun for all students. Speaking of, we have decided to bring back our homecoming parade. Yay! Yes, we hope to make this a very involved event for our amazing clubs, sports, students, and community. Our ASB Commissioners of Activity, Yesenia Lincoln and Haley Sublett, are working hard to plan an unforgettable homecoming dance and rally. And as we're looking into October, we have decided to host a trick or treat at Bear Creek. We want this event to advertise our leadership classes, staff, performance clubs, and our love that we love giving back to our community. We have big plans for Bear Creek homecoming, and I hope to share them all with you guys soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Margaret from Tokay.
Hi, President Knackstead, members of the board, Superintendent Young. So the school year is off to an exciting start, marked by several successful events that have engaged our student body. We hosted a kickoff party before the football game against Laguna Creek, which was a tremendous success. The event featured music, games, and face painting, creating a lively atmosphere that boosted school spirit ahead of the game. Students and staff alike participated enthusiastically, and the energy carried over into the game, contributing to a strong sense of community. Additionally, our Club Rush event went exceptionally well. Students had the opportunity to explore and sign up for a variety of clubs, ranging from academic and service-oriented groups to special interest and cultural clubs. The turnout was impressive, with a significant increase in student participation compared to last year, indicating a growing interest in extracurricular activities. Our student government is already making strides this year with several initiatives aimed at enhancing school spirit and student involvement. The team has launched the sale of new spirit shirts, which have been well received by students. The shirts designed to promote unity and pride in our school are expected to be a popular item throughout the year. Looking ahead, homecoming nominations are set to begin this week through September 9th. This is always an exciting time for our students as they participate in selecting their peers for a homecoming court, a key part of our school tradition. We anticipate a high level of engagement from the student body during this process. Moreover, the student government has seen a surge in participation with more students joining the class. This increase in involvement is a positive indicator of the growing interest in leadership roles among our students, which bodes well for future activities and initiatives. Our cheerleading team delivered an outstanding performance at the recent football game against Lodi and Laguna Creek. The routine was executed with precision and enthusiasm, drawing loud applause from the crowd and adding to the overall excitement of the game. The performance was a testament to the hard work and dedication of our cheerleaders, and it significantly contributed to the positive atmosphere at the event. For sports, football did lose to Lodi, but our first home game we did also lose to Laguna Creek. But we're gonna come back from that, so I believe in us. Our flag football, though, on the other hand, went 3-0 at the summer tournament and also won the tournament against Merced, Atwater, Kimball, and El Capitan. So our flag football is definitely the best, I think, at our school. Our girls volleyball has also been doing really well. Our varsity has won all games so far, knock on wood, and all 3 levels won against McNair. For the upcoming activities, again, our homecoming is September 27th, so we're planning some fun lunch activities, Spirit Week, and of course the annual homecoming parade, which everyone is excited for. Thank you.
Thank you. And from Middle College, Celine.
Good evening, President Knackstead, members of the board, Superintendent Yo Young. Delta College has started a couple weeks ago, so now all our college classes are in full swing. They hosted their Welcome Back Week and welcomed our own middle college students warmly as well with their various booths and goodies. Everyone loves free stuff. They got a lot of nice little lanyards and books. Clubs are still in the works of getting their own avid representatives and planning with their own board members for our upcoming Club Fest, where the whole school is invited to visit various club booths to indulge in games, fundraise, and get to know one another. Student government is in the midst of organizing Club Fest alongside the other clubs, and have chosen the theme of the event to be a game show, which will be a lot of fun for everyone. We're excited to decorate our space in September and host another school-wide event. Additionally, we are in the works of planning our school's Fall Spirit Rally in November, which means taking talent show signups, class game representatives, and waiting in anticipation to see which class will be victorious this semester. We also have put out an application on behalf of student government looking for our next freshman senators, which we'll have decided by the end of the month. As far as performances and presentations, on August 30th, we held an awards assembly in Atherton Auditorium, where our students received awards based on their merit as well as attendance recognized. As mentioned previously, student government is holding talent show auditions later this month for our fall rally, and are excited to see the different MC group auditions as well. App tutorials have begun now that tutors have been selected and hired. Many of our students were able to attend the college and career night on August 27th, held at McNair. Again, everyone loves free stuff. Delta College is also holding their college night tomorrow, which some of our students will be able to attend as well. Our Club Fest, as for upcoming events, our Club Fest is the 20th of this month, and our fall rally is going to be November 8th. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Can I ask each individual what their plans are in the future? We'll start with Lexi.
Yes, after high school, I plan to go straight to a four-year university, hopefully studying pre-med or pre-dental. Future plans after my undergrad are still TBD, as I hope I pass all my classes, but you know, you never know. So 4-year, hopefully in California or close states like Nevada or Oregon.
After high school, I hope to go to a 4-year college. However, if that is in the cards, I want to go to community college and then transfer. But I definitely want to become a librarian. I love reading, and books have always been a large part of my life. And I feel that you also get to connect with so many people in the community being librarians, so it's definitely one of my life goals to get there. And so I'm going to try to attain that however I can. And if that means going to college and doing all that stuff, I'm definitely going to try to achieve it as best I can. And after that, I definitely hope to have a family in the future as well. But yeah, that's mainly it.
Same as these ladies have been saying, I'm looking forward to going straight into a 4-year university after graduation. You know, as far as my major goes, I'm a little bit undecided, but right now thinking about going to neuroscience with an emphasis on academia and or research.
Okay, Mr. Young, you have a report?
Yeah, Mr. Knackstead, members of the board, it was nice to drive by Lakewood School and see the new parking lot project complete. Thanks to Mrs. Gresham, the staff, families, the community of Lakewood School, and the community around Lakewood School for persevering this first month as the timeline for completing the new parking lot extended into the school year. I have thoroughly enjoyed my site visits to Sutherland, Podesta Ranch, Oakwood, and John Muir, sitting on the carpet with transitional kindergarten students, watching learning in 4th grade, talking to TK students during lunch at Podesta, visiting the dynamic 6th grade teachers at Oakwood, as well as a teacher providing reading instruction, and doing a Q&A with the 6th grade GATE students reminded me of the wonderful things going on around the district, but also reminded me of the challenges that our school sites face. Please be aware that Ed Services is finishing up gathering feedback from parents, staff, and students on cell phone use during school. And we'll be bringing a report to the next board meeting to get direction from the board on how to move forward. Finally, I wanted to give a special thanks to Celine Wong, board rep and Middle College ASB president, for the opportunity to join the student government meeting last Thursday at 5 o'clock. The commitment, dedication, and organization was evident. Middle College High School is in good hands. I have nothing further.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to employee group comments. Each employee group shall limit their comments to 5 minutes, please. So anybody want to talk? Have Norris. Wow. Oh, okay, here we go.
Superintendent Young, President Knackstead, members of the board, congratulations, Aaron. I'd like to introduce myself as the new CSEA chapter president here for Lodi. I look forward to working with you to resolve all our issues, to get to know every one of you. I like to solve all the problems that we have, and we have a lot.
No.
Really, for you. Thank you. I look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Elliot?
President Knackstead, members of the board, members of the cabinet. So I already voiced one of my concerns, and that is with the upcoming bargaining. I'm glad early on that both LEA and LUSD have given our bargaining reopeners for the 24-25 school year, and I'm hoping that we don't wait till the end of the school year to come to an agreement like we did last year. I'm hearing of some issues at sites as far as facilities. I'm hearing things like, why did half of my school get a new floor and the other half has carpet that's 30 or 40 years old still? Why didn't it get done all, during the summer? And I'm hearing about some pest infestations, which is always fun. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. That we need to take care of. And I'm still concerned that there are classrooms that still have students that are over the contractual agreements for class sizes in elementary. And it is well past the 10 days. So the board really needs to make some decisions on what they're going to do going forward. I think it's really time for the board to start looking at changing some boundaries. Because I think there are rooms in schools. I'm hearing that there are empty classrooms in, for example, Beckman, Murata, where we have students busting at the seams at Lodi Middle and schools around Beckman, including Larson, especially Larson, that, that could be utilized. I'm also looking at the fact that why did the district do such a horrible job of forecasting how many teachers we're going to need? We still have way too many combination classes. I was relieved to hear that we have one combination class that is going to be broken apart. But some of those students, this is going to be the third school they're going to go to this year because they were overflowed from one school to another, and now they're going to be overflowed to yet a third. And that's really disruptive for the learning process for these poor kids. So we need to do a better job. I don't know how LEA can help. We'd love to, but we're not been privy to those conversations in the past. So I think maybe you can listen to some of the teachers about what their class sizes really are and do some better forecasting. That's just a suggestion. But I think it's a good suggestion. I think you need to listen to teachers, respect what we experience in our classrooms. And I'm not seeing that at all. As a matter of fact, I called Mr. Young recently about a situation, and my response was, well, call the area director because I don't really deal with the day-to-day things at the school site. I was taken aback. It's like, you're the superintendent. Like, really? I didn't say anything to him, but it was like, really? And the more I thought about it, the more it just ate at my craw, and it's something I think you guys should know. That's the attitude. So hopefully our bargaining will take into account some of these issues that teachers are actually experiencing day to day, and you'll actually listen. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any Public comment? All right. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda A. At this point, the public, did I miss somebody?
You have public
Oh.
comments.
Oh, sorry. Oh, that's right. All right. I missed it. I don't know why I skipped right over that. Mancila, I think it's Sandwall. Oh, that's an R? Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Young, President, members of the board. I'm here, of course, again with the library media assistants. My concern is that I know, Mr. Young, you've been going to our sites. I think when you came to my site, I was not there. I think you probably spoke to Mr. Johnston. And I know Mr. Stroh, thank you for coming out and, you know, seeing how it was for me in the trenches that day. And I appreciate you guys really just lending a real sincere and honest ear, because again, if we're clear, then we have compassion, and clarity to me, I think is huge, because sometimes in a forum like this, in a platform like this, sometimes there's so much things that are coming at you, but we need to really see this very clear and make the point, and make sure that that point we made at the start of this doesn't lose its fizzle, and at the end we think we're trying to solve something and it totally went the opposite way. And I don't want that to happen with this, because this is something that we've been dealing with for a while, been very patient, but I fear that maybe the way it needs to be handled is more collectively. And what I'm trying to say is basically all library media assistants, if we need to have a meeting with the powers that be, hopefully with you, Mr. Young, board members, so you can, in a different platform, if you will, understand very clearly what LMA 1 goes through versus an LMA 2, and see exactly, and from there collectively have a resolution, because if not, it's not going to go. This great, you know, idea of what we're trying to do at the end is going to fizzle, and something's going to come out totally opposite, and it's not going to solve. So I think what would be very, very wise, and I think the library media assistants, by show of head nodding, that we could have, I think, keeping with this momentum, and to collectively be in one room in a sense of, okay, what's going on? Let's roll up our sleeves. What is it that you guys are concerned about? How can we make it better? And get a real true glimpse at every level. So then we go, okay, this is how we can resolve this, and it be equitable for everybody. Because if not, I fear that it may not go the way it should. You know, we might lose touch of what we're trying to do. I would feel that would be the greatest way to kind of move forward, and I know continue with this, and as well as I don't know if, I think conversations with Gabby Vasquez, our IMC director, supervisor, I'll finish real quick, she oversees us as well as the librarian, so she is key in this meeting as well. Thank you.
Okay, what do you think? Oh, God, look at the, Kelly Hansen. I was reading that. Yeah, I was reading that here.
First, I have two sons. Kelly Hanston, Lodi employee, teacher at Julia Morgan. And I'd like you all to know that my level ones, the whole class is ones, they're starting to perk up and starting to answer questions. You know, just as a side. If the district respected us more, we would not have such a problem with retention. So just something to kind of guide your motives, your thinkings, and appreciate all that. What I really wanted to speak about today was the superintendent's salary. First of all, last board meeting, when he was asked what his salary was about, and he said it's public record, I was like, that's like one of my sixth graders when they don't want to tell the truth, kind of a side thing, and I
You are
didn't
talking about an
appreciate
agenda
it.
item right now, so.
Okay, but I
That's
would like
coming
to
up
speak to it.
later.
Do you want to be later? Okay, so go back to respect, retention. We still have classes that don't have full-time teachers. When I started working for Lodi Unified, it was always when I was buying a house, it was a realtor's thing to say how great the schools were in Lodi. And our realtors just don't say that as much anymore. Our impression that we get from like our people that are going to go to college and go to school, and they're thinking, who wants to be a teacher anymore? And being a teacher is such a marvelous thing. It's your soul. You teach what you are to the kids. You teach them to be honorable. You teach them that they're amazing, that they can do so much. And it would be really nice this year if our teachers truly felt supported and weren't having to scrabble over things, and truly honored, truly respected. So I'm going to just leave early, give time to someone else, and I'll be back to speak about the other issues. But I just would really like to have a happy school year, and I hope you guys want to help us along in that. Thank you.
Thank you. Amy Conyers.
Hello, my name is Amy Conyers. I work at Live Oak Elementary School. I'm the library and media assistant there. I am here to also talk about what we have been going through. I know it's been brought to the board a couple times now, but I think there's been a real theme tonight about respect. And I'm not here to chide or scold or anything. That's not my position. I am here to say that I have not felt respected as a library media assistant. I do appreciate that Mr. Young and board members have come to look at what we do and see how many things are happening at our job day to day, but not making the effort to meet with us all together, not having any communication about it, these random drop-ins where we are asked point blank if we would consider having more hours over a raise for doing parts of our job that's not part of our job description is disrespectful. And you're showing us that our time is not valued. And we are a big part of how the school functions.
Yes.
We are making Lodi Unified's goal of one-to-one Chromebooks for every student happen every day. We are your front lines, even though we are not considered technology. And we are not certainly paid for that either. I'm sure our library media assistants here will tell you that. I'm sure our teachers back here will tell you that. I'm sure you know from experience of the classrooms. It is hard to be teaching a library class, helping students find books that are in their level that they can read, that they're going to find interesting, promoting that interest, making sure the classes are in and out within 30 minutes, because most of us have barely 30 minutes with our classes once a week. And on top of that, we have students coming in all hours of the day with Chromebook issues. If they're coming in, it's an emergency. It has to be dealt with. They're trying to have a good education. And that is the key. I know we all share that goal, is to make all of our students have that education that's going to be the foundation for our future. And when they're missing class time because I have to tell them to have a seat because I'm in the middle of talking to the class about the book fairs coming up, it takes from that. And their Chromebook's not working, takes from that. Calling IT takes from that. I want to do my job to the best of my ability, and I do my job amazingly, but I'm not compensated for that job, for the technology side of it. It is not in my job description. And again, like I said last time, this job description is 3 years older than me. I think that should be a flag. This, thank you.
Okay. Oh, Sherry Kelly.
Good evening to everyone, the president, the board, Mr. Young. I thought I'd let you know I did have a visit from Neil Young. It was a surprise. I didn't expect him here. I honestly thought, Mr. Young, that when you said that you were going to have a meeting with the librarians, that it was a meeting with all of us, so you can hear us and hear what we go through. The meeting that you and I had was 15 minutes, and it was in between freshman orientation. So we really didn't have enough time to talk. And when you did talk, it was pretty much, how many hours do you want? I can probably give you another month during the summertime. Summertime, kids are not in school. I'm not getting the kids coming in at summertime with Chromebook issues. I'm getting Chromebook issues all day long while children are in school. The extra hours is not going to give me what I need. We need to be a new job description to help us understand what we're supposed to be doing and also doing it. We're top line technician. Teachers do not have time to sit there and do anything. They send us straight to the library. Library, we have to stop what we're doing because again, they're missing out on their education because they're out of the classroom because the Chromebooks don't work. We're number one to fix it. So we need to be compensated, not more hours. We just need a job description and compensated. And what you told me was disheartening. What you told me flat out is you're not going to get into job classification and you're not going to get a raise. So I don't know how to feel. I'm disheartened, but I love my job. And I love my job and I love working with the kids. So I'm please asking, my goodness, our job description is 3 years older than some of our even LMAs. So let's get this solved. Let's help us work with these kids because that's where we are here for. We're here for the children. And I love this job. I love working for the kids. But God, please help us. Please.
Thank you. Mary Hooley. Mary, that's you.
President Knaxted, Superintendent Young, board members, and student reps. My name is Mary Hooley. I've been a resident of Lodi for over 30 years. All of my children have graduated from Lodi High School, grandchildren as well. I deeply care about this community, the teachers, and especially the future education of students within this district. I am a retired LUSD employee. Some of you might recognize my name from the support desk in the technology department. As a matter of fact, I was in technology when the district first went on the internet. My purpose for speaking tonight is to publicly declare my concern as to the availability of pornographic books and other materials to minors within the LUSD libraries, and to offer the board a clear sense regarding the content of these books, as well as the potential danger of extended exposure to this type of sexually explicit material. What you have in front of you, and they've got packets, is a list of some of the books in question, along with some excerpts from a few of those books. I don't know if you've read any of these books, so I wanted to make sure that you are fully aware of the vivid and sometimes graphic sexual imagery within, which includes, but is not limited to, rape, incest, assault, prostitution, pedophilia, and pervasively vulgar language. As I already mentioned, this material is pornographic. I think we would all agree that words have meaning, so allow me to give you the definition of pornography as stated by the Encyclopedia Britannica. Pornography is the representation of sexual behavior in books, pictures, statues, films, and other media that is intended to cause sexual excitement. This definition includes not only porn via the internet, as we would typically expect, but also written and graphic content found in books and audio materials. Also, please notice the intent. Its goal is to cause sexual excitement. It's not designed to teach anything that is edifying to a child's mind or character. As a matter of fact, data from the American College of Pediatricians confirms that exposure to this type of content over a period of time has the potential to harm young minds. Whether or not these books have been written by persons of color, contain persons of color, or LGBTQ characters is not the primary issue. The issue is whether or not these books are appropriate for minors, regardless of the story's outcome or even the book's purpose of inclusion. As I mentioned earlier, I was here when the district decided how and when to go online. The district was responsible for the internet safety of all students then, and it is now, in order to protect children from exposure to any material deemed harmful to minors. The specifics of this can be found in LUSD Board Policy Exhibit 0440. The district continues to apply filters on its internet servers, which are designed to block access to inappropriate content, which of course includes pornography. Why isn't the district using these same protocols for these materials? Likewise, it is your responsibility to the parents, guardians, and the community to provide a safe, age-appropriate materials or safe, age-appropriate materials for all students. Please take the excerpts home and carefully consider what you're allowing our children to see and hear. And remember, children are great imitators of what they see and hear. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right. We're going to move on to consent agenda A. At this time, the public may address the board on consent agenda A, which is routine business. Please limit your time to 3 minutes. So anybody want to talk about consent agenda A before we get to that yet? Ms. Wilkins?
Yes, okay, hold on, I gotta find the item number. I have so many tabs open here. I was looking at the GAN report, which is item 17, A17. And also your unaudited actuals and the numbers for your ADA don't quite line up. They're a little bit different. So that was my question. And then also on the GAN report, so the this GAN versus unaudited actuals. So yeah, the ADA doesn't quite line up, and also too the ADA for 23-24 is a little bit higher than what was in your actual unaudited actuals last year. So we had a little bit of higher revenue, and then it's also higher for 24-25, but it shows it's lower on the unaudited actual. So I'm just trying to correlate all of this information.
That it?
That's it.
Thank you.
That's a question. It's like, why?
No,
Because that's
can I
how we
ask
get
a
our
question?
funding. That's very important to have the right amount, the right ADA. So if it doesn't match, that's, that's
Okay, well,
that's a problem.
that's where you want.
Can I ask a clarification from you? Can you put your microphone? Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. Just a clarification, Neil. I want to make sure I understand the question. ADA numbers are not adding up for which year?
Okay, so on the GAN report, so for example, it says that our, on page 1, line 2, our ADA is $25,000 44.88, but if I go to page 1, I think it's 101 of the, which is coming up, of the 101, maybe it's 110, of the unaudited actuals, our ADA was, hold on, there's so many pages here. Oh, now I can't find it. But anyway, it was 24,000 and some odd, so they didn't match up. So I'm just trying to figure out what's the actual number, what is our actual ADA, and that's the question that I have. I'm confused because they just don't add up. I mean, they're not the same, and so shouldn't they be the same going from one document to another, since that's supposedly what we're basing our budget on?
Mr. Connexted, members of the board, Ms. Juarez can certainly reach out and provide the detailed information to Ms. Wilkins. And Ms. Wilkins, I would just ask if these questions come up, by providing those in advance, it gives Ms. Juarez an opportunity to look in, provide you answers, and if necessary, here at the board meeting.
Okay, yes, because I would like this to be public. I don't like the fact that I'm constantly being asked to send an email before the meeting so that these things are not brought to light. That to me is the antithesis of a public meeting. Thank you.
Good evening, Superintendent Young, President Connexted, and members of the board. My name is Joseph Gardia, and it's good to be back up here again. I'm coming out here as a candidate for Area 7 and as a former student representative to speak about some of the stuff that during my time as a student representative, I was there for it. And I'm pleased to see that the movement...
Joe, are you talking about consumer agenda?
Yeah, I'm getting to it. I'm pleased to see the movement on the Gatner School project, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about its progress in the coming future, and hopefully we can get that school opened up as fast as possible. And I wanted to look at 823 for the board policy 4033, and for the lactation accommodation. When I was a student representative, there were concerns and issues brought up about it before the board, and I remember those concerns, and I'm glad that we're addressing the accessibility issues, and I'm glad that the district is taking action to ensure the necessary safeguards are in place to protect its employees and provide them with the resources necessary to properly nurse their young. And for board policy 5145.12, I hope this policy and its revisions will greatly mitigate the amount of drugs and weapons on our school sites, especially at our high schools. It has become an alarming safety issue, and so I'm glad that there are steps being taken to address concerns, and hopefully we continue to see the district work on these issues and ensure that our school sites are safe and healthy learning environments. Thank you.
Thank you. You're back.
Yes, thank you. Agenda 7, CSEA will be seeking to bargain the impacts and effects of the decision that affects our members as a result of this reorganization. Thank you.
Hello, Jen Castle, and this is about consent agenda A, but it's also about the purpose of this meeting. Isn't it true that this is a public meeting and it's governed by the Brown Act? And we are supposed to be holding a forum that allows for discourse. It is my understanding, in accordance with the Brown Act, that the people of the community are allowed to ask questions on these consent agenda items, and they are allowed to talk without submitting emails, and hopefully having those questions answered. This is supposed to be a discourse, and it is governed by the Brown Act. I just wanted to remind everyone about that. Thank you.
So, moving on. I need to...
Approve agenda A.
Second.
Okay.
Was that Porter?
Yeah.
Mr. Porter, yes.
Can we pull items?
Yes, yes.
Oh, do you need to pull something? I'm sorry.
I did.
Okay.
Okay, then go ahead.
I didn't hear him ask.
No, I didn't quite get there. Mr. Porter was on it.
I had something. Item A23, there's two policies. Do you want me to pull the whole thing and then
Yes, pull
address the
A23 and talk
policies?
about what you want to talk about.
So just
A23.
A23, the policies. Okay.
Motion to approve the rest of Agenda A.
Okay, I'll second. Okay. Students, you get to vote on this,
Aye.
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 and then the board votes. Okay, and that passes 7-0. And now we're looking at item A23. Or was it 23?
Yes.
Yeah.
There were, only because you made fun of me for being gone last week and not addressing the policies. You knew I was going to go through these with a fine tooth comb. So just to get back at all of you,
Yeah.
I'm not spiteful.
No, not at all.
As we go through and we look at the policies, I had a problem with two of them. Policy 5020, Parents' Rights and Responsibilities. The second paragraph, and if you want to take a second to pull it up, it says, it just is old in the sense that it wasn't part of the revision, but it says here, where it says the superintendent or designee shall work with parents, guardians, including parents, guardians of English learners. I'm kind of offended by that in the sense that it feels like it's a separation. It should just be all parents. It should not be when you go down to paragraph 6, it does then say that they will receive that information in their primary languages. So it covers that, but I would like to strike that out. I think it's old language. I think it's separation and it bothers me. So I have a hard time giving my go-to. There is also a typo in there. You know I'm all about that, which says it's for students or students for put together in paragraph 6 or line 6 down. So I don't know if we can fix that, or if you agree to change that, or I don't know the process to change that because it looks like it was way back in the original policy. And that was not part of the revision, it was just something I thought, this needs to be updated.
Okay, members of the board, technical revisions, we can make those if there's a space missing or something
Right.
of that nature.
Yeah.
As far as making a change, we brought this once as a report. My recommendation would be that if you're not ready and the board is not ready to approve this specific policy, then we pull this from the approvals and then you make an amended motion to approve those other than 5020 specifically, and then we can take a look at that and bring that back.
Would you like to do that, Ms.?
That would be great if everybody.
Go make a motion.
Pardon? I do have another one, but that is more
We should vote on this one first, though.
No, yeah, let's do one at a time.
Just if I could ask, is the other one technical in nature or is it content that you would like to see changed?
That's a good question. It's not two words stuck together. It needs to be, the wording needs to be changed. But
Okay, if you would like to look at it now, as far as what is approved, we can approve all other ones, and then we can pull the 2 out if you feel that would be the appropriate way to move forward.
That would be great.
Okay, do you want, for the record, just be able to share specifically from that board policy your concern?
The 5125.1, paragraph 3, his and her needs to be changed.
Okay, and I would say that is a technical that we've been changing in all board policies to update though. So that is a technical change.
That'd be technical.
Yes, and.
It depends who you're talking to.
Okay, that can be changed because the content or the specific policy is not impacted and then, it doesn't change how we approach.
Okay, so that would be a technical change versus
Yes,
the other one.
and we have been updating those in other policies as well. So, so back to your question, if the other one, you would like to see a larger change, specifically paragraph 2, we can pull that one. The other board policies can be approved, if that's the interest of the board, and then we can make those adjustments before they get placed on the website, and the updated board policies are reflected as such.
That sounds wonderful.
Okay, so then I'll leave it up to the board. How do you want to move it?
I make the motion to what Mr. Young just said.
I'll second it.
So you're making a motion to approve all
of
board policies listed other than 5020.
Correct.
Yes.
That's right. Okay, student vote.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Board vote.
This is a verbal vote or be electronic?
Electronic.
But is it, have you included that already in the electronic?
Because the motion was made that it's just for the board policies other than 5020, you can still do an electronic vote with
Okay,
it,
thank
because it was pulled.
Thank you. Okay, and that does pass 7-0. Okay, so we're down to, that's it. Okay. Going to consent agenda B. The public may address the board on consent agenda B, which are student matters. Each speaker shall limit their comments to 3 minutes. Does anybody want to speak to consent agenda B?
I have a point of clarification. Do other action items fall under consent agenda B? Or are we gonna have public comment on other action items?
B is student matters.
Student matters.
Okay, so I'm just asking, I just want you to say to me, we will have public comment on other action items, correct?
Yeah, other action items.
Okay, I just wanna make sure. Okay, thank
Yeah, we
you.
got there.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve consent agenda B.
Second.
Okay. Students don't get a vote on this one, so board vote. Councilman Clark. Okay, and that passes 7-0. Okay, moving on to other action items. First other action item is a resolution 2024-92, the sufficiency of instructional materials. Dr. Horton?
Yeah, it's recommended that the board accept staff recommendation here for resolution 2024-92, sufficiency of instructional materials to comply with the Williams settlement as per California Department of Education.
Okay. Are there any public comments on this?
Last time this was brought up, I mentioned that the students who were, who in class overages, who were waiting to be transferred, were not given instructional materials because, I don't know if it's because of the lack of them at the school site, but the reason that teachers were given was like, well, we don't want to give them materials because when they finally go to their home school, they're going to get these. So that to me seems that it is an insufficiency of instructional materials, because what are these students supposed to do until that time? And like I said, there are still students, we're 4 weeks in. 6 weeks in, that still have not been transferred. So does that say that we are sufficient in our instructional materials? That to me does not make sense. Thank you.
Are there comments from public comments? Board comments?
Good question.
Okay.
And it's a clarification for the question just asked. Is it a board policy or a rule to not give the instruction materials to students who possibly might get transferred? And who decides beforehand this student might get transferred?
Yeah, as far as the materials, having the materials and moving the materials are two different things. So having sufficiency of the materials is one issue. For us, having the internal procedures to get those moved in a timely manner to help the students and teachers be with the necessary materials, that's a different issue. We've been working on that internally to be sure that when we have those classrooms that are shifting, that we can move those materials much quicker.
So there's no specific rule that says a child can't get this?
What you have is specific policies and rules that speak about if class sizes exceed 24:1 at the primary grades, And your policy does speak to transportation for someone who has to be overflowed to another school site. As far as the procedures for checking out a textbook or the supplemental materials at the school that they are at, waiting to go to the other school, there is no policy specifically that speaks to that, and the sufficiency is making sure we have enough for everyone, but I would have to look at more information at a specific student and the issue that may have popped up with the overflowing of that student. So
does that mean that if a classroom has 25 kids and we're waiting for that one transfer to occur, we have enough to provide to the 25th child, we just need to get that material to them in time?
I believe so. I would have to, Gabby Vasquez obviously oversees the whole process of textbook checkouts, and as far as what is a classroom set and what is provided as far as supplemental materials at like an elementary school, I would say yes, but there could be details that with an individual student I'd have to look into.
So these questions should be taken to the site admin so they can be addressed right away rather than wait 6 weeks.
To answer your question, certainly at school sites, looking at the sufficiency of textbooks, supplemental materials at those school sites, the procedures that are followed, yes, certainly at each school site. And you also have Mr. Lambert and Mr. Dawson here to make sure that we are consistent with that process.
Main thing that we are having sufficiency of instructional materials. That's the key. These are other issues that we're talking about.
That's correct.
And I move that we approved item resolution 24-92.
Okay. We have first and second.
Second?
Thank you. Okay, student vote.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Okay, and board vote. Okay. OA1 passes 7-0. Other action item number 2 is the certification of the 23-24 unaudited actuals report. Ms. Rest. Juarez.
Good evening, President Connexted, members of the board, Superintendent Young. Tonight we are presenting to you the unaudited actuals report for fiscal year 23-24. I'd like to introduce Director 3 Controller Ms. Dao Song to provide a brief presentation tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Juarez, for the introductions. Good evening, Mr. President, Mr. Canastic, and members of the board, and Superintendent Mr. Yan. I'm very excited to be here tonight. This is my first time presenting it, but I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
All right.
So I am Ms. Juarez patients tonight. We're going to briefly talk about the unaudited actuals for the fiscal year 2023-24. And I will briefly just get a summary of the reporting requirement, and then I'll briefly talk about general fund, and I will end up my discussion talking about other funds in the district. Tonight, my goal is really to talk to you about bring this report to your attention to present tonight is the requirements per Educational Code 42100 that has to bring this report to the board for approval. So that's why I'm here tonight is to bring the reports to your approvals. And so at this moment, accounting department is officially closed the book for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. And so the report is attached, over 138 pages. Our report is attached here on this board agenda for your review. And so on this report is considered an audit actual, because the next step in the process is for our auditor to review the financial data, and they will be presented to the board a report or any findings that they have. Probably no issues in the reporting. So just want to let you know that one. Moving on to the next slide. Here, like I mentioned, we're going to briefly talk about general fund. Sorry, I can't really So here on the slide, you will see a fund balance of over $285 million, which is the general fund, and it has 5 components to it. You can see here the number for each of those components. And then the next few slides, I will quickly go over the details of what is considered restricted and then what is considered assigned. So as you can see on the slide, is the restricted fund balances. You have over $105 million. And these are considered like restricted resource that will be carried forward to the next subsequent years, 2024-25, to be rebudgeted and to be used to support this specific programs. So I know it's a large balance, but I want to bring your attention to that there are some large balances for other programs on this slide. I'll give you a moment to review them. But large programs that has large balance, including like expanded learning opportunity grants, as well as art and music instructional, along with other larger ones like learning recovery emergency broad grants. Going on to the next slide. On this slide, just give you a quick overview of the balances of the general fund assignments. Here you will see a balance of over $39 million. And on the next slide, I'll get you a quick overview, a detail of what is considered locally defined unrestricted. Here you will see a balance of over $11 million. And just wanted to point it out that although it's a unrestricted, these balances here carry forward to the next year are specifically earmarked to be spent specifically to support these programs. As you can see on the screen, there are LCFF concentration and LCFF supplementals on here, which are set aside specifically to support LCAP. So I just want to point that out to you. Going to the next slide. This slide specifically is just to get you a, for informational purposes, we do a quick comparison between what is budgeted and what is actually spent for the years. And we bring to you here is the variances that we came across. And so just want to quickly point it out that the 2 biggest variances are the 4,000 object range and the 5,000 supplies. Those are large balances that mostly due to unrestricted resources that are not fully spent, which I mentioned on the earlier slide, that will be carried forward to the new year to be rebudgeted to support those specific programs. So we are done showing you general funds. Here is other operating funds in the district. You can see all the balance on this slide. I'll get you a moment to review them. Here are including like student funds, the charter school, which is Josena, other one like auto education, child development, cafeteria funds also including here, along with also insurance and other insured OPEX.
I'll just add, if you notice on the self-insurance fund, so that's the $58 million that's reserved for our, to support our self-insurance programs such as property and liability, also vision, dental, as well as our workers' comp. On the far right side, the negative 19 million, that's just actuarial balance that we have to report based on GASB 75, the governmental standard that requires us to report the full OPEB. OPEB is our other post-employment benefits, or what we call the retiree benefits. And as of June 30th of 2024, the district has outstanding liability of 85, or a little bit over 85 million.
Moving on this slide here, you will see the fund balances displayed here are the construction funds. As you all may be familiar with it, they included our Measure L, our Measure U, along with our capital facility, or regional monies coming from the developer fees, along with other special reserve for capital projects, regional money contributed from general fund to support or pay for special project, capital projects. Next slide. On this slide here is the last block of the funds, which include our debt service fund. I just wanted to bring to you what the balance are for those funds. And these are the debt service funds. So as you can see on this slide, I wanted to bring to your attention that as of June 30th, 2024, we do have the debt service general obligation bonds payable balance of over $330 million, excuse me. And then we have a debt service cost payable balance of over $7 million. That is concluding my presentation tonight. So I hope that I gave you a quick overview of the report tonight. And tonight I'm here, like I mentioned earlier, to seek your approval for the unaudit actual reports.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody got it?
Yeah, Mr. Connector, I want to thank April and the young lady, what's her name?
Miss Dowzone, Miss Zong.
Now, Zone. Thank you very much for your report. It was precise and it's all there, so thank you very much.
Is the board comments? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve this certification of...
Oh, hang on. Oh, were there any, I thought we already, did I skip over the comments?
Yes, you
Okay,
did.
go ahead. I thought I did.
This might be new? Okay.
Oh, it's a different option.
Okay. So I'm a numbers nerd. I love numbers. I find it really disturbing that if you look at our unaudited actuals, our projected income for restricted and unrestricted for 24-25 is $493,896,787. And our carryover is $258 million, which is about half of that. So we're carrying over the money that we're being given by taxpayers to spend on students. We're saving 50% of that and carrying that over. It's not being spent on who it's supposed to be spent on, and that is to educate our students. That is very, very disturbing to me. And every year I see this, and this fund keeps growing. We are not a for-profit business. Okay? We're not a for-profit business. Okay? If you look at if you look at the salaries and benefits of teachers, we're kind of in the middle as far as benefits. But the longer our teachers stay here, the more, compared to other districts in the county, the more our comparative salaries go down. So you're not rewarding teachers for staying here for a long time. And those teachers who stay here for a long time are the ones who are mentors and coaches to our new teachers, which we desperately need. Okay? We've lost a lot of teachers going to other districts this year. Because, one, because they felt the lack of respect, but two, the pay and benefits are a little bit better. And we have the money, $258 million, excuse me. We're carrying over, it just showed in that slide, $95 million in supplies. We don't spend, I've never seen us spend $95 million in supplies, okay? We're carrying over $28 million in services. Benefits, $7.1 million. Almost $6 million in health and welfare savings and 1.2 in unused statutory benefits. Okay, that should be used to offset some of the costs that every employee in this district talks about for benefits. And then when we come to our classified people, they're paid way, a lot of them, they start at below minimum wage. We can't hire these people because they can go other places, and we need those support people. So I just think that carrying over 258 million is a sin. It's immoral. You are the board. I don't know how you can sleep at night knowing this. How you can be a part of this and to continue this. Thank you.
Christy Arredondo, Ansel Adams. I want to address the materials for students. Most of us in my side in third grade, we were all rolling at 4 or 5 students extra. Every year when that happens, we ask for materials and we're always told, no, go ahead and make some copies. It's not feasible. This year when I reminded through my email that it was a Williams Act violation, the materials were sent. It's interesting.
Hi, Ansuela Garcia. I've been involved in PTA for a long time, and PTA is not allowed to roll over that much money, a percentage, because it's money to be used on children. School sites, they're given money for the year. If they don't use it, do you know what happens to it? It gets taken back to the district. We're not allowed to roll that money over, not very much of it. We're not a Title I school. We don't have a lot of extra money, so we try to spend what we have. But if you were donating to a charity and the charity was keeping half of the money and not spending half of the money that they raised, and I know we're not a charity, but would you question what they're doing with the money? I just want you to ask questions. What are we doing with the money? What are we doing with it? What are we saving it for? Dr. Washer said it was a rainy day. Well, it's been raining for a long time. So let's ask questions. That's why you're here. You can ask those questions. Ask them.
Okay, at this point, we have a motion on the board.
I have a question.
Okay.
Mr. Hanks.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Young, I've been kind of in contact with one of the department heads, not at Tokyo High School, and their budget's been reduced, and their school budget has been reduced, just as that comprehensive high school. And the principal laid out transparently what the budget was for that school, and then showed that the science department there was going to get $9,000. Is there a way for the board to see the budgets from 2019 and where we are now, not in between years, because the pandemic and you had all those extra funds. I would like to see us pre-pandemic and post-pandemic on how we're doing with budget for, at least for our comprehensive high school. Because the individual I've been corresponding with has said a significant cut, and the principal said it's a significant cut. So are we cutting budget for schools, for actual materials for students? Because this is what I'm hearing from one particular comprehensive high school.
So, Mr. Porter?
No, I'm supposed to speak in the microphone, I apologize for that. Basically, my question was, is it possible for the board to take a look at the budgets that were given out in 2019 pre-pandemic versus what they're giving out now for the 24-25 school year, and see how those school budgets align, and if there's a decrease, why?
So you want 19-20 compared to 24-25?
Yeah, I want to go pre-pandemic, and then I want to go now, because really now, we're without ESSER funds, so we're going to minimize those towards the end of the next couple months. And we could just do the comprehensive high schools just to keep it kind of neat and tidy for me. Or maybe the board would like to see other schools, I don't know. But I'm hearing from department heads that their budgets have been cut. And I'm hearing from a few principals their budgets have been cut at the sites.
Okay, we can certainly provide that to you.
Okay? Thank you very much. Appreciate your report too.
I have a quick question. If we're going to look at high schools, I'd like to do a spattering of a couple of high schools in each area 1 and area 2. I mean,
Well, I said all.
Yeah, not high schools, but elementary.
I agree.
I think
So-
I don't care which school, I just think do a spattering. I'd like some in area 1 and some in area 2 instead of just focusing on.
Get a sample, be great.
We'll provide them elementary, middle, and high school, and it'll be a sample from both areas, Title I, non-Title I.
Appreciate it.
Well, that'd be great. Maybe outside.
Okay, Dr. Ball?
Just a quick comment, I do appreciate both of you bringing this report forward, thank you. While I'm all for a rainy day fund, absolutely, I completely agree. Let's get numbers, let's look at things. And if there is a budget committee meeting, do we have a budget committee for our board?
Yes.
Clarification on that?
Yes, forgot to mention that, yes, we are scheduled to meet on September 19th for the SBAC committee.
Is that the SBAC one?
Yes, I believe we sent out
So I'll be happy to attend,
Yeah.
and I see all of the calendar, we'll be there for all of them. The questions that are asked by the community, by the people sitting here, I appreciate that, and that's how we get the feedback, and that's how we all will together solve this. Okay, thank you.
Real quick also.
Sure.
Thanks, Gary. The SBAC, is that open to the public, or is that is that by invitation?
I believe it's open to the public, it follows Brown Act.
It is, right, okay.
Yes.
I just know that when Leonard, not processor, when I went to those, and it was quite informative, and so I found the information in those SBACs versus the questions that came to the microphone very different, because the SBAC answered and gave an expanded view at those meetings, so it really does open, it gives you an expanded picture that we all get, but I think it's for public, it's a really good one to get some intel and some additional knowledge.
And board comments? Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Okay. Student vote,
Aye. Aye. Aye.
board vote. Passes 7-0.
And well, this goes to the county, San Joaquin County Board, this honor.
Oh, sorry.
Are these provided to the San Joaquin County Office of Education?
Yes, it will be submitted after your certification. It will be submitted to the San Joaquin County Office of Education.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to other action item number 3, which is the approval of the amendment to superintendent's employment contract to reflect a 5% salary improvement, which is in alignment with the district proposal to all the other employee groups for the 23-24 school year.
Gary, I'd like to make a motion to approve this action item. I also know that you are going to take public comment. I just wanted to put that out there.
Get it out there. Is there any public comments?
Hi, Ann Swayla Garcia. When I was a kid, my mom served as PTA and Fort Bragg Unified School District Board member for many years. And when I didn't like the canned peas at lunch in first grade, she had me come to the board. When I didn't want them to cancel fundraising for sixth grade science camp, I came to the board she served on. So when I come here and speak with you, I speak with you because I'm channeling a woman who taught her kids to speak up. And it's a chance to share a point of view. So I saw in the news yesterday that CHP was given a healthy raise, which they deserve because they were short officers. The new contract also includes longevity. The state of California must believe that a good salary will bring in potential employees and retain them as well. Everyone deserves fair compensation, including bus drivers, custodians, paras, cafeteria workers, secretaries, clerks, library assistants, electricians, plumbers, counselors, speech and language pathologists, librarians, teachers, administrators, everyone. Lodi USD Openers says plus or minus compensation to Leah on the same agenda that the superintendent is asking to plus his salary again. It says plus or minus. Plus or minus for us, but plus. June 2023, Mr. and contract increased by 8.6%, $25,000. Tonight you'll be voting on a 5% retro on top of the 3% automatic, which is about 8%. 3% of $290,000 is $8,700, so base salary is now $298,700. 5% of $298,700 is $14,935. So the new base salary could be about $313,635. LEA members were told that no one gets an 8% raise, but apparently the superintendent might get one a second time because of this year. We didn't get our COLA, which is 8.22. No one got their COLA. When your openers for bargaining show that you're considering taking away from employees, that minus part, it's there in your opener. How can you add more to the superintendent? Everyone deserves a fair wage. Everyone. The superintendent, everyone. But is it fair that the very top leadership is wanting 8% when employees got 5%? What will your response be to employees that say, me too?
Kelly Hanston, sixth grade teacher, Julia Morgan. Mr. Knaxted, president, Mr. Young, superintendent. This is really hard for us to talk about. You know, when I first met Neil, Mr. Young, he was talking about how he had gone and dug wells in Africa. And I was so impressed with who he was as a person. And now I'm going to say some things that might sound negative, and I hope they're not taken in a way that is meant to be mean or anything. Like I said, this is very difficult for me personally. Imagine when I retire, I'm at the very top. I have a master's, very top of the salary schedule. And they replaced me with a new teacher and gave her or him or them the exact same salary that I made as a new teacher. When we first hired Mr. Young, we took him and gave him the salary that Dr. Washer was receiving. And now we've given him 3%, we're going to give him another 3%, and we're going to give him another 3%. That's all part of his salary. If he goes and gets his, I think it was the doctorate, he's going to get a $10,000 raise. We all get stipends for that, and it doesn't come anywhere near the $10,000 increase. My father was a colonel in the Marines, and Lisa already alluded to this, but they don't eat until every one of their men are fed. And I think we have not fed our teachers properly. We're not feeding our library assistants properly. We definitely don't feed the CSEA people properly. We have a difficult time getting people here. And I just think it would be a little bit dishonorable to just hand Mr. Young a 5% raise, which is more than what everyone else in the district was compensated. And I really think you should consider this rather than just slapping out there, yes, 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 yes. And think about what you're doing to the morale of your teachers who were told after many, many, many times, who were told, number one, that list of things, we said, give us something that doesn't cost money. And you wouldn't give us that. Give us something that will just help in the classroom. And you wouldn't even consider to bargain about those things. I don't know who sets the bargaining agenda, but it feels like this district does not respect their people, the people who do all the work. And I hope you really think about what you're doing when you make your decision. Thank you.
Ms. Suela Garcia made some of the great comments I was going to make, so I'm not going to reiterate that. But my father was a trained lawyer. He went to Catholic University in Washington, D.C., and one thing he taught me was to be able to read a contract. First year law, read a contract, know what you're getting into. The proposal you have here is an insult. You've got Article 2.1, and as I emailed every single board member here, I said, look at Article 2.2. 2.2 gives him an automatic 3% raise for 24, starting July 1 of 2024. He already got that. When COLA is going to be 1.07%. He's guaranteed 3% starting July 1 of 2025. And they're saying that COLA for next year is probably going to be around 2%. They're not going to give that to the rank and file. They're not going to give that to us. They're not going to give it to our CSEA people, the people who are in front of students every day. I have no realistic things, but I'll tell you what, if you give them 3%, I'm going to rile my people, I'm going to get my CSEA people, everyone else, and we're going to fight for 3%, because that is only fair. That is only fair. Okay? Now, another thing that was brought up was that he has to work nights and weekends over holidays. Guess what? I work nights and weekends and over holidays myself. I am on call 24/7. I got calls over the weekend, and I'm going to tell you, I got phone calls. My mother was in the ICU, and I'm getting phone calls from members who need help. And I'm answering those phone calls. Okay? Because that's my job, and I take it very, very seriously. But I get the response that I got about, well, you know, I don't handle the day-to-day stuff, you know, so call someone else, from the superintendent who's asking for a raise of nearly another $25,000 when his contract that he signed in July of 2023 already gave him another $25,000 raise. If you take this 5% plus the 8%, it's obscene. Now, in this contract that he's showing, he's not showing Article 2.2. Are you guys going to amend Article 2.2 then? So that he doesn't get that 3% raise that he already was guaranteed on July 1 of 2024. He's already gotten that, when the rest of us are not going to get 3%. It's only fair. You're saying this was, the way this was precluded was that that's what everyone else got, he deserves it? Does he deserve it after the district trying to ban books? How we handled that fiasco? I worked in tech. I would get bonuses and raises, but they were based on merit. They were just not automatically handed to me.
Thank you for letting me. My name is Maya Aguirre, Life Board Superintendent. Maya Aguirre, I am a proud parent of 4 Lodi Unified students. One who's an alumni and a student at Cal Berkeley, so go Bear Creek students. I'm very proud of that high school and the kids that come out of it. I just wanted to make comment regarding the proposed amendment. I have to say first and foremost, it's a little disappointing that a board member is going to motion for approval prior to discussion, because as a parent, I've always thought that these forums are discourse, and to know that minds are made up without community input is a little disheartening, but I'm still going to say what I need to say. And that's to say that I was very actually happy when Mr. Young was appointed to our district for superintendent. I like the idea of homegrown, right? He's here, he has a vested interest in the district. So as a parent, that's important to me. I would much rather that than somebody that's coming from another location, doesn't know the students, doesn't know the demographics, doesn't know the community. So I appreciate that. I think the issue for me as a parent who's concerned with budget and money and knowing how hard our teachers are striving for their 3% is just, I guess, that question. Is the board looking at that 5% on top of the 3%? Are they going to make an amendment to that 3%? Because I just do feel that if you look at, you know, what did I say? Stockton Unified, 295. They're a similar demographic, similar size district. And I just think that it's worth the optics of being fair to the people that service the students in our community to say, hey, you know what, we're going to stop and we'll look at this. Maybe we overstepped or we didn't see some of these things or we didn't think of that 8%. It is a little bit egregious, I think, given where we're at, both with our teachers and our CSCA and our budget in general. We have this huge, we just finished watching the budget and we have carryover, and you're talking about an extremely large amount for a superintendent, and I just don't see it trickling down, and I don't see it trickling down to the people that matter. I mean, they're the high touch points, right? Those are the people that touch our children. Those are the people that we need to do the hard work, and I'm not dismissing the hard work that Superintendent Young does, but I do think that in order to show a little bit more respect to those employee groups, at least it's worth a conversation, and I think a conversation in public. I think that discourse matters. So thank you for your time.
We have a motion on the
board comment?
Yeah, as soon as we have the board finish the motion first.
Board comment.
Okay. All right. Either way. Ms. Ford.
Yes, thank you. This is a very difficult issue because you're dealing with an individual that you work with, and you're talking about money, which is always tacky. But, unless you have a lot of it. I was led to believe in June of 13th of 2023, when Mr. Young, salary went from 265 to 290, that was part of his 23-24 package. And then he had a 3-year contract with that with 3% bumps. There was no mention of COLA. So he went from 265, you have to remember that Dr. Washer was still with us until June of that year. So when she left, of course, and he assumed a full role, he had that. Also, Dr. Washer did not have an associate superintendent. So Mr. Young now is free to do things that I think are important, which is get out to schools and see our people and do other things and oversee what's going on. And I think that's extremely important individual. I struggle, and Ron Heberly was a great one on this, on what's called income inequality. And Ms. Garcia kind of touched on the numbers that I'd already put forth, what's going to happen with this. But if you give the 5% now, in 3 years you'll have $325,000. If you don't give the 5%, you'll have $307,000. If you take a teacher that gets $100,000 and give them 1%, this year, they get $1,000, and then the year after that, let's say there's 2% COLA. Well, they'll get $1,200. So they'll be at $1,300 or $103,000 versus what would be $125,000. Now, the income inequality to me is big. It used to be in this district that your top teachers were superintendent never made more than double. And it also used to be in this district that the salary schedule was squared for teachers. That doesn't happen anymore either. My point in all this is that a contract was signed and nowhere was mentioned COLA. Also in the contract, he does get a car allowance, which he needs because he does go from school to school and so forth. In addition to that, something that I really pushed for, along with another board member, that he would get $10,000 added to his salary. And I pushed for that. I'll stand behind that. To get his PhD, which I think is extremely important. Because anytime you further your education, you further your experience, your knowledge, your ability to work with other people. So all those are on the table. And I apologize for 2 weeks ago not having the contract in hand and not doing my job, because I should have been prepared, as I am tonight. And I hope Mr. Young doesn't take this personally, but percentages don't work. Mr. Heberly always said we should take a cell in the middle and dole out the money by a amount instead of percentages, because the people at the end always get more than the people at the beginning. And that's what's happening here. Income inequality is growing, and it's growing with the superintendent. Now, some people will say that he's underpaid. I agree. So is everybody else in our district. So, although I love Neil, and I know that he's doing a very good job in trying to increase student achievement here, trying to. And along with Mr. Horton, excuse me, Dr. Horton, I think we have a good team here. But I struggle with this 5%, and I will be voting no on this. Thank you.
Is there a second on this motion?
Second.
Okay, so ready for the vote. Students, you get to vote on this.
Aye.
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 Okay. And board vote. Oh, hang on. Technical problem over here. Was it me this time?
How did you do that? You're a wizard. Thank you.
Pass.
Yep, 4-3. Okay, thank you. Okay, Dr. Crocker, are you in the house? Nutrition Services update.
President Knudstead, members of the board, I am honored to introduce your Director 3 of Nutrition Services, Dr. Betty Crocker.
I'm assuming it's on, right? Are we good? President Kaneska, members of the board, Superintendent Young, and our cabinet, congratulations, Erin. It is an honor to sit here and share with you just a little peek in our window. I call it a little sunshine, and I understand that we're advancing the slides by. Okay, great, beautiful. So we had some very exciting news last school year. We served over 6 million meals, and we did that through a variety of meal services. And the big number here is that we are continuing to achieve our scratch cooking, our freshly prepared, at 40% of our menu is our goal. And the other commitment that we have is locally sourcing wherever possible. Next slide, please. Super proud of the state of California. Every child, all means all, every child gets to enjoy a no-cost breakfast and no-cost lunch. Every school day, California made history. We're the first state in the country to do that. And very proud of our policymakers. Now you need to know that I further learned that we beat the state of New York by 30 minutes, but hey, number one is number one. Next slide, please. So some district impact of all of this, all the policy changes of AB 130, is that we are operating under a program that's called CEP, Community Eligibility Provision, and that's a very big deal to be a parent especially, and anybody working on the admin team, because we no longer are required to take meal applications. So it's a very seamless process, as you know, through the areas parent portal. The data confirmation automatically gets all of that data electronically, and that's shared with the state. Now, the big deal about it here is that we also have a program that's called Sunbucks. Sunbucks is automatically distributed through the California Department of Social Services every year based on this information that's automatically provided to the state. Next slide, please. So hey, what's new? Let's talk sushi. Let's talk sushi. Let's talk SB 1383 and the new tech platform. We are moving everything that we know to move to paperless, and so this is underway actively this year for our first year. Next slide, please. Diving right into sushi, super proud to share with you Chef Randy out of Lodi High. He is a Chef and Fellow this year. That is a very big deal on the national stage. He is one in about 20 humans that were selected for this with Chef and. So part of his fellowship, he decided to rock and roll. Let's bring sushi, Betty. Okay, game on. So Chef Ann has funded this program for us, and we are working on 3 active recipes right now with all of this, and rolling out to Lodi High for our launch. Next slide, please. SB 1383, I affectionately call this the trash talk at the principals meeting. Yes, it's the same thing that's happening at your homes, where we separate all of the trash. And the big thing here, especially at the school level, is what we look to do is make sure that any food is put into the organic waste when it is not consumed, and that we also donate any food that can be donated so that those foods are not going in the trash can wherever possible. Thank you so much. Maybe we should talk later. One of my favorite slides, honestly, I don't know if anybody knows Tiffany from the city of Lodi. Big thank you so much. So how do we roll out SB 1383? With Lisa at Cal Waste and Tiffany for the city of Lodi in our elementary schools is where we began. The city of Lodi gave us beautiful funding for the trash cans, for signs, and if you go into any of the elementary schools, you will actively see all of the separation, including the organic waste. And we're going to be moving into the middle schools this year and then finishing up with the high schools. Next slide, please. So some program development, let's talk hydroponics, taste and teach, serve safe training. That is our commitment this year to provide what we do monthly service to expand our food safety culture. Next slide, please. Diving a little deep into hydroponics. So we've been building out our partnership with Fork Farms through our CDFA grant, super prestigious grant. And right now we have 20 hydroponic farms where the kiddos are able to grow hydroponics. So it's hyper local in the classroom. And next slide, please. And with our after-school footprint, what we are working on there is a bunch of nutrition education outreach. We've been doing this for a number of years, especially coming out of pandemic. And this is something that we do with our after-school networks, even working with the California Dairy Council. We developed a lot of curriculum material in collaboration with all of our partners here. Next slide, please. So we're looking forward to a farmer's market, expanded summer meals program, and then the farm to school menu. Next slide, please. And this is what we are going to be launching this year. This is an introduction to our farmer's market. We have structured this for school year 24-25, and we'll be bringing out the farmer's market beginning at Creekside Elementary. Next slide, please. And here's another peek into the window of what this local produce will be looking like. And we are going to be working with Mr. Heck and putting this for our students with the lunch service. Next slide, please. And the USDA Rural Non-Congregate, that's our summer meals grab and go. I call it we call it the USDA 10-day challenge. So every kiddo whose family came to our grab and go, we provided to them 20 meals with each service. It's one of my favorite pictures when the kiddos just flash a little sign that is just a bunch of sunshine and gratitude. We ended up serving out of from June to July over 275,000 meals. Yeah. Next slide, please. So this is what farm to school looks like in Lodi. This is what we've been up to. Last school year, we began a partnership with Cal Virgin Olive Oil. So we displaced any olive oil that was not Lodi grown, put into our food system. That was a lot of fun. And then we also worked with Gatelli Farms. We got some Bing cherries from them. And I found all of these folks, by the way, at the Lodi Farmers Market. While we were recruiting, I was working for Aaron. And then the other one we worked with, a lot of fun too, which is Eli's Apples. And so that's Michelle's farm, Farmer Michelle. She has some beautiful Fuji apples. I remember tasting them for the first time right off the tree. They were so fabulous. I just want to know how we can get them to the kiddos. So this is what we did last year and what we're continuing this year. Next slide, please. So this is my favorite slide I've ever put together. The circle of life is in full effect here. So we have Pacific Coast Producers, or PCP as we affectionately call them. PCP is a farmer-owned collaborative, and this is where all of the farmers in our region are bringing their peaches. And I understand that the peach crop is either very early, late, or very late, and that's when PCP is operating. What I learned this morning when I met with our PCP colleagues is that peach that comes off the tree gets to the cannery faster and in a can faster than if you were to go to the farmer's market. That's how fresh it is. And capturing that level of freshness is done right here in Lodi. I'm just super proud of all of this. So the cool thing to be us is that our representative, Josh Harder, comes from a history of peach farmers, and his peaches are in those cans. Superintendent Young happened to be in our central kitchen, and we had the privilege to give him a bunch of peaches. I think we did peach parfait, peach coffee cake, peach muffins, in a care package, and gave them to Representative Harder. So it's kind of like we gave him his peaches back. Next slide, please. And I want to invite everybody to the open house on Wednesday, September 28th. Yes, we will have sushi there at the open house, so come and check us out. Probably have some peaches too, and just thank you so much. And I also wanted to thank all of my colleagues in the back. We didn't know that we were going to be wearing the same shirts as our teacher colleagues, but everybody that's bringing kindness, that's all my colleagues, and I just super appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, thank you. Yeah.
Dr. Betty.
Dr. Crocker?
Dr. Betty.
Yes, I wasn't sure, sorry.
Hey there.
We're gonna do public comments and then board comments.
We just wanted to say that, loved your report, it was fabulous. And the children, they really loved when we had the farmer's market at our school. For a lot of kids, that's fruits and vegetables they'd never seen, never tasted, never tried, and that's the best thing to get them all excited about good nutritional eating. But I want to say just how much, how grateful we teachers are to our people who run the kitchens. You are an essential part of our schools in making our children feel at home. And I appreciate everything that you do. I've taught at 4 different schools, and I've loved everyone that's worked in those departments. So thank you so much, and thank you for bringing more to it. It's very exciting.
Okay, any board comments?
It's a pleasure to finally meet you. Boy, have school lunches changed since I went through, and this is so exciting, and I want to thank you for the effort and the time. I personally would love to invite you back to do a follow-up presentation to see how all these cool things that you're doing this year, panned out. The farmers market's very exciting, and I'd love to see, in May or even at the beginning, I know it takes a lot to put this all together, but you're doing so many way cool things, and I feel lucky that we have you in Lodi Unified to do that. So thank you.
Ms. Crocker, thank you very much. Betty, in other words. My gosh, what an outstanding job you do for our district. I just, you think about all the schools that we have and all those people that we have are getting fed. And your responsibility is you have to have a good staff that supports you. And I'm sure that's what you have, because, there's nobody that complains on this nutritional. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Are you doing something with Stockton Unified?
Like?
That's
a loaded question. What do you want me to do? Challenge accepted.
They used this last year with I think the recreation department, we were supporting some dinners there for them. Are we still doing that?
We did a backpack giveaway in Stockton right before the school year started. I am always open and eager, Mr. Nava, to learn anything that you would like me to know. I just love making friends.
Awesome. Awesome. Very good, very good. Congratulations to you, my
Thank you,
God.
thank
Good
you.
job.
Thank you.
Dr. Ball?
Thank you. Thank you. That was great. I thought you were a mythical creature. Yes, Doctor for Nutritional Services.
Thank you.
It was very nice to meet you. Thank you. Quick question for you. Since we do serve all of our children food, do we have sufficient to serve our staff as well?
Do we have what to serve our staff?
Sufficient to serve our staff as well.
So that is also an interesting question. For nutrition services, we are able to provide a staff meal for all of our team. For the district, the adult meals, we pay for it. Each of the adults pay for those meals if they choose to have meals with us.
Just asking because it looks like we have overages all the time. We have extra that we might need to donate. Is it out of line to offer it to staff or take home for the kids?
Well, we would like that.
Yeah, it's outside of the regulations. It is.
Can we make a board policy?
No.
Oh, okay. So just to briefly answer your question, so we are a federally funded program. My big BOSS is the USDA, and from there, all of the regulations flow to us through the CDE. And Fund 13 is an incredibly restricted fund, not to steal Ms. Suarez.
So federal government trumps school board.
I apologize, yes.
Just check.
Yes.
Mr. Canasta, I have been practicing your last name, I do not know how many times.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Any board comments?
Go ahead, Jim. Oh, okay. Ms. Crocker, I can see from your demeanor and your presentation that you have passion for what you do. And that is, for me, inspiring. because I love to be around people that are passionate about whatever they're doing. And you have that, and that is an incredible part of your DNA that a lot of people don't have. And you bring joy to your job, I can tell that. And with that, you're helping your staff, because I know you probably get in the front line and work with them. And it's incredible. And the thing that I like the best down there, no financial impact. So you're doing it, and you're doing it right for us. I really appreciate it. And so many kids go without nutrition. And you're helping them, and you're making their lives better. What a good feeling. So what an inspiration. Thank you so much.
I'll echo a little bit what Corky said, that you really bring passion to the job you show it. Betty Crocker, I have to say the name. Had your cookbook since I grew up. I don't have my mom's. But, and I'm sadly have a funeral the 28th, or I'd love to come visit the open house, but I'll come visit
This is
some other time.
26.
26? Oh, I can. And I'd also like to say, I was there when Josh Harder was there, and he got the things, and
Yeah, we could cut out the picture there. That's Chelsea.
yeah. But I want you to know that your muffins were appreciated. My son works for Josh Harder, and he, I think, ended up eating most of them, he said. So he brought them back to share with his office staff. And he said they were really good. They were delicious. He used some kid term, but I forgot what it was. But anyway, thank you for your job.
Thank you, thank you.
This is Carla.
Real quick, I just want to say, if you haven't been to the Central Kitchen, it's an amazing kind of Willy Wonka. It's like a think tank. I've been to many meetings sat in the previous years, and the towers of lettuce growing and things, and the spin bike with the smooth. It's.
We do have a little fun.
You do have a little fun, but what I like most is all we think of cafeteria or farmers markets in our classrooms. And I think if you go to Central Kitchen, you will be quite wowed at what else is going on. And that they all do it under very heavy restricted regulations. So hats off to you. It's impressive. Thank you.
Okay, I have to apologize. I missed the student comments. Do you have any comments?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
I know you've heard the end of phrases, but can I just say, ever since you said your name, I've been grinning ear to ear. You might have to stay after so I can take a picture with you. But I just wanted to say, from like a student perspective, you had me as soon as you said sushi. I just think that what you're doing is great. As like a student representative, I know that our cafeteria food has been a popular topic, especially amongst like our seniors. And I'm super glad that you're bringing like this amazing stuff to our schools. And I hope that you can bring like that flea market or whatever that you're talking about to like high schools. Bear Creek, maybe you want to start with that one. But yeah, I just think what you're doing is great. And yeah, stay after so you can take a picture.
Okay. Ms. Young, did you have a comment you want to make?
No comment.
Okay.
I asked Dr. Crocker to come, Dr. Betty to come, because every time I sit with her, she's like a battery pack. She just gives you energy. And so I'm excited that she's part of our team. And you can clearly see all that we're capable of because of her leadership and her team and all the people who make our Nutrition Services Department what it is. So I just had to let you see this for yourselves.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, these are proposed revisions to board policies and rules. Board policy 4000, concepts and roles and personnel. Board policy 4015, injury and illness prevention programs. 41.5.2, exposure control plan for bloodborne pathogens.
If you don't want to read through each one.
There's a whole slug up here, look them up on the. Okay.
So board, I'm actually going to propose, now that you have named an assistant superintendent of personnel, that we bring this back next time so that she can have an opportunity to look through those and provide any I's dotted, he, she's become theys, and anything else that needs to happen. So I'm just going to pull this item and bring it back to you next meeting, unless someone has a problem with that.
Nobody has a problem, do they?
Well, I have a
What they do.
question. Should I forward suggestions or things that I have found to?
You know what? Mrs. Alexander, I think that's a wonderful idea, and I know that
Because some of them are really.
Mrs. Church looks forward to it.
technical,
Yes.
But there are some other good ones that I just was wondering about.
I look forward to the two of you working together closely.
Do not chase
I was
her
ready
off.
to debate with Dr. Horton here, but Erin, you're on, baby.
Do not chase her off. All right. Well then, with that, we're ready to go to any board advisory committee reports. No? How about any comments from the board members? What do you want to, do you have a report you'd like to share?
Well, Mr. Porter was, and first I sharing, thank you. We did have our facilities committee meeting. Sherry attended to this over the phone. Good things are happening. This is a good place to be. We have a proposal for a new school that should hopefully solve our Larson overflows. I know it takes time to do all of that, but we did have a proposal for portables at Larson, and hopefully starting up with the Gantner soon. So, and I appreciate the time we took. It was slated for an hour, but I think we were there for 2 hours.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
so-
seeing the plans for Lodi Middle School finally moving forward, we're very exciting, very,
Yeah. No, carry on, please.
pardon?
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was virtual, so it was a different feeling, but it was nice to pull them up and actually visualize, because I drive by it almost every day, and to see what the potential is. And then finally, Sue and I have been talking that before, like, it looks like it's happening, so that's exciting. Mhm.
Do we have any of these meetings for public as well?
That specific is a subcommittee of the board, but as far as the long-range planning, some of those types of meetings, but that specific subcommittee is not a
For
public meeting.
long-term planning, can we have them up somewhere? Yes, I know we have them on our website, but somewhere in person also, can they be put up? So if anybody would like to attend, they can give their input and we take it from there.
We could certainly sit and talk about how the public can provide input to you, so that you have that information as you're weighing decisions and how you would like to proceed. Even though in the end, you saw the portables come through the routine business as well as the Gantner, and all of those things do come back for approval. So, but absolutely, and we can come up with a mechanism to get that input. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Mr. Porter?
No, it was a very productive meeting, and we had outcomes, which is important when you have a meeting. So I appreciate Dr. Ball being there, and Ms. Alexander doing virtual after her surgery. And both ladies displayed great knowledge and great insight to our facilities, and I thought the meeting went extremely well. Of course, Edith, Ms. Holbert, excuse me, led a very good meeting for us. And like I said, I felt at the end we had actually done something,
Yeah.
which is important. And I appreciated being there with my fellow board members.
Any other committee reports? Okay, how about any board comments?
I know.
Which way?
Just
All
very quickly, it's nice to be back. I wanted to thank Mrs. Howard and Ms. Suarez for your wonderful answers to questions and helping out to get information out. I know you're probably hating my late night emails.
That's
but-
you they're asking a question. I was always wondering.
But it's always nice to be able to see that. And I wanted to thank, having Dr. Crocker here is just amazing. Congratulations, Erin. We love having you here as well, and keeping you here. I just wanted to make sure, I loved that presentation, and I just want to encourage, I see on the, we're spending a lot of money, for example, and I brought this up before, Lego education. I really want a presentation on Lego education. I want to see what these kids are doing. I want to see excitement. I want to see that out there. When I see dollars going to a program, I really feel like I want to see, because as an educator, there's times that you hear these wonderful programs and you see them, and then you go, wow. And then there's other times that you're like, eh. And I just wanted to follow up on those really cool things that we have. So nice to be back.
Real quick, kind of a pet peeve of mine, and I talked to Mr. Young about this earlier. I went all the way back to April 16th. We have yet to have a board meeting that involves student achievement, where we look over student achievement. And if you look at anything from CSBA, study suggests that high achieving school districts spend more time discussing student achievement and policy development than admin details, regular administration details. This is from the School Boards Association of America. Vision, high achievement, and clear goals come from your school board. Strong shared belief and values lead to great outcomes for students. And these are all levels. They've done data studies on this. Your board members need to be data savvy. These are things that I find kind of incredible when I was reading it. It's the NSBA 8 characteristics of effective school boards. I think that we've gotten away a little bit from student achievement and looking at it, because that's where we're supposed to say, what do you need so we can help you achieve, instead of waiting for February when we get the results from the state. It's too late. And my other pet peeve is, I've asked for this numerous times, well, two things. I would like to see the board get the summary of the WASP reports from schools so they can read it and see how those schools are doing when they go through their accreditation. It is a self-evaluation, and I think it'd be great for the board to read those and see what other people view of us and how we view ourselves. And I think the board would be further moved along in terms of their knowledge of what's happening in our school district. And I would like to see a calendar of governance. Then we wouldn't have the mishaps that we've had tonight. And I've asked for that at the beginning of the year when we had our governance in place, and it has not happened. So those are two things that I've asked for. And tonight, of course, I'm asking for, can we look at student achievement? I know we have a data assessment area. What are they doing? So, thank you.
Any other one? Okay.
Thank you, President Connected. I am looking forward to, I think the gentleman left for the evening, but I am looking forward to working with the new CSBA president.
Yeah, Rodrigo.
Yeah, to get to see her, yeah, absolutely. And I think it kind of piggybacks with what Mr. Porter is saying. Better predictions for the next school year is really what I think everybody would like to see. Better predictions on our classroom numbers, so the teachers are at ease, knowing that it's not going to be overwhelming the coming year. What are we looking into? And that'll, as a fallback, then give every student the materials they need instead of them waiting 6 weeks. That was just heartening for me to hear that there are kids who didn't get materials because of the transfer that may have to happen. So I think better predictions for the coming year would be awesome, and that'll help teachers and students and parents, of course, plan their days out better. But I do appreciate everybody's comments today, and a lot of good things came out of this evening. Hopefully, I look forward to more congenial, more nicer, more quieter. Thank you.
Well, I'll finish up. Last week, was it last week or this week? We went to the College and Career Planning Night. It was at McNair High School. It appeared to be as well attended as it has been in the past, which is, I think, a positive thing. One of the things that caught my eye was at Delta College. I didn't add them all up, but it's close to 214, I think, different programs that each one of them lead to a job. And that's at for what I know, it's not quite free, but it's at Delta College. I know that a lot of the emphasis in education seems to be swinging back away from No Child Left Behind to actually learning how to do something, produce something. And our own Lincoln Tech also does the same type of thing, but not at this great a scale. But it's nice that we're in contact with Delta College and offering those types of classes also through our programs that they can transfer in. So I thought it was well attended, and I'm glad we're putting that on for our community. I need a motion.
Motion adjourned.
There you go. All right. Everybody ready? Okay. We're done. Thank you.